Sandra Cisneros is a renowned writer who is best known for her works that explore themes of identity, culture, and the experience of Latinos in the United States. She was born and raised in a large bilingual family in the mid-50s. The Chicago neighborhood where she grew up was a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood that heavily influenced her writing, leading to a heavily acclaimed novel. The House on Mango Street is Cisneros' most famous novel. Released in 1984, Cisneros writes about a girl named Esperanza and her coming-of-age story through a series of vignettes, which is a short descriptive piece which focuses on a particular moment, character, setting, or idea. The novel reflects Cisneros' own experiences growing up in Chicago and addresses themes such as poverty, gender roles, and the desire for a better life. In The House on Mango Street, figurative language serves as a powerful tool to convey the emotional depth and complexity of Esperanza and her journey of self-discovery. Through metaphors, similes, personification, and symbolism, Cisneros paints a vivid portrait of Esperanza's life in a poor, predominantly Latino neighborhood in Chicago, similar to her personal experience. By using figurative language to express the themes of longing, identity, and independence, Cisneros not only enhances the reader's understanding of Esperanza's internal world, but also explores broader themes of community, gender, and socioeconomic status. This video essay, or commentary video, will examine how Cisneros employs figurative language in The House on Mango Street to convey Esperanza's emotional journey and the broader messages of the novel. While it's hard to pinpoint the first pieces of figurative language in The House on Mango Street, the first two we will be looking at are in the vignette hairs. In this section, Esperanza describes in detail the different kinds of hair her family has. More specifically, however, she describes her mother's hair and how it makes her feel. But my mother's hair like little rosettes, like little candy circles, all curly and pretty because she pinned it in pin curls all day. Sweet to put your nose into when she is holding you and you feel safe. Is the warm smell of bread before you bake it. Is the smell when she makes room for you on her side of the bed still warm with her skin, and you sleep near her, the rain outside falling and Papa snoring. The snoring, the rain, and Mama's hair that smells like bread. This example is a mix of both simile and metaphor, with Esperanza describing how her mother's hair looks and smells, what it reminds her of. The similes are more prominent in the beginning when she describes how it looks, while the metaphors are more towards the end of the vignette when she describes the smell and how it makes her feel. Safe, she said. Safe and warm, like when she would crawl into her parents' bed during a rainy night. It reminds her of how she was when she was young and what it was like to not care about anything but the look and smell of her family's hair. The next example is a simile from the vignette Gil's Furniture Bought and Sold. In this section, Esperanza speaks of a junk store near her home owned and managed by an old man. She describes the store as dusty and cramped. One time when she's in the store with her little sister Nenny, she overhears her ask the old man what something she found was. The thing was a music box, and the man began playing it. It's like drops of water, or like marimbas, only with a funny little plucked sound to it, like if you were running your fingers through the teeth of a metal comb. This simile brings immense detail to the text through the description of the sounds that the music box makes. It also shows us Esperanza's unfamiliarity with the object and curiosity of the noises of the music box. An example of personification can be found in hairs on page 6. As stated before, this vignette describes the different kinds of hair Esperanza's family has. However, this time, instead of describing the comforting nature of her mother's hair, she speaks of her own. And me, my hair is lazy. It never obeys barrettes or bands. Cisneros personifies Esperanza's hair as lazy, a human trait. This suggests to her hair having a mind of its own that does not conform to what she wants. This can symbolize her frustration with things out of her control as she seems distressed about how it doesn't do what she wants it to. Another example of a metaphor can be found on page 108 in the vignette titled A House of My Own. This vignette tells about Esperanza's yearning for her own house, where she had her own space and she could live free of the burden of having to owe someone to stay there. The house itself is a metaphor for her want of freedom and self expression, which is contrasted by the house on Mango Street. This, instead, she associates with limitations and lack of privacy. The metaphor of a house of my own symbolizes independence, privacy, and self empowerment. It reflects Esperanza's desire for a space where she can be herself and not be restricted by the expectations of those around her. In the vignette Boys and Girls, Cisneros writes about Esperanza's want for a friend she can be herself around. She says, "Someday I will have a best friend all my own, one I can tell my secrets to, one who will understand my jokes without my having to explain them. Until then, I am a red balloon, a balloon tied to an anchor." Esperanza feels weighed down by having no one who understands her, who also wants to spend time with her. Cisneros shows this using metaphor by 1. Saying she is a red balloon, which symbolizes how she feels that if she had her way, she would be long gone and free. And 2. Stating that there is an anchor which symbolizes her sense of responsibility, her family, expectations, and the area she lives. She feels like nothing compared to this massive weight keeping her restrained and bound to what others think of her. To conclude, the figurative language in The House on Mango Street plays a crucial role in shaping the narrative and deepening the emotional impact of the story. Through metaphors, similes, personification, and symbolism, Sandra Cisneros conveys Esperanza's complex feelings of longing, identity, and apparent loneliness. The imagery of the house, the red balloon, and her family's hair all serve as tributes to her desires of freedom, expression, and individuality. These figurative elements don't only highlight the struggles she faces in her environment, but also emphasize her dreams of a better future. Through it all, figurative language aids our minds to transform Esperanza's experiences into universal themes of yearning and transformation, making the story a reflective one of individual identity and social and or cultural limitations.